भद्रं कर्णैभिः शृणुयाम देवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैस्तुष्टुवागं सस्तनूभिः व्यशेम देवहितं यदायुः स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति न पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमि स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. Let us pray together. We offer our salutations to the all-loving being who endows all beings with consciousness. We meditate on the Lord, who is the origin of the universe. Lord, Thou abidest in all, Thou art all, Thou assumest all forms, Thou art the origin and goal of all. Thou art the self of all. Thou art existence, knowledge and bliss. Salutations unto Thee. May the world be peaceful. May the wicked become gentle. May all creatures think of mutual welfare. May their minds be occupied with what is spiritual and abiding. May our hearts be immersed in selfless love for the Lord. Peace, peace, peace be unto all. Let us close our eyes and feel the center of our consciousness, center of our being. Let us concentrate on that. To help concentration, let us feel it as a bright spark of light. This is divine. This is luminosity itself, pure. All pervading. Unchanging. Immortal. I am that. Om. Peace, peace, peace. Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. That is perfect. This world too is perfect. The perfect emerges from the perfect, taking the perfect out of the perfect. What remains is the same divine, unchanging perfect. Om, peace, peace, peace. One of the central problems of any life, any kind of life, and especially the spiritual life, is this maintaining balance. It is all really balancing act. Life is a balancing act, really. But when it comes to moving towards the ultimate goal, what gets called as the spiritual life, then this assumes tremendous importance, because it seems that my spiritual struggle is being countered by so many other things, opposite things in life. And I have to fight with all those to be on the course to the spiritual life. And therefore, it is quite natural that many think of it as a losing battle. So many opposite forces dragging me in various directions, but nothing is helping me to go to the goal that I want to reach. All are forces which are disturbing me. They are dragging in various ways towards the world, towards all this material things, those which are transitory, which I actually, as a spiritual aspirant, I don't want them. But what is to be done? I get dragged into those things. And so maintaining a balance becomes a very tricky thing. As we all know, every human being feels this problem of balancing so many different problems in life. Simultaneously, one has to do that, even if one is not trying to lead spiritual life. Like there are the financial worries. How am I to get money to do everything that I need to do? All requires money. Swami, fine, you were saying that, give up everything, but without money, nothing can be done. This world is not governed by God, but by dollar. So it is, so somebody asked me, could you have made this all construction without money? So money is so necessary. Money is required. So that is one of my worries, how to get enough money. And not only that, there are other problems if I spend my energies in earning money. What about, I can't pay attention to my family. That is another thing. I have spouse, children, all those things I have to think about. Then there are the pressures from the society that I should do this and I should do that. Then I feel certain moral obligations. I have to pay attention to those. There is the demands of the greater community that I have to think about. And in the midst of that, I also have to think of my ideal. And there are hosts of other desires that keep on jumping in. And then what about the health issues? I get worried. What would happen if I get corona? All those things are to be kept in balance. How to struggle with all these variables, you see. They just keep on, and they are dynamic. What I mean is their quantities and their pressure, they keep on changing, new things get added every now and then. So by the time I solve one problem, okay, I have handled this, three others come up. It is like this. There is a story of a surgeon that he was having this bad somehow habit. He was a very good surgeon, very skillful, but was forgetful. Every time he would do the surgery, he would forget a scalpel or an scissors or something inside the body of the patient. Then again somebody had to help him out, and then things would be rectified. So he was warned many times, pay attention to it. Hey, this is not at all right. You are playing with the life of this person. There is patients that come to you. And then once he had to perform an abdominal surgery, and he decided that he will not forget anything. He kept the, all those instruments are needed, all those he kept a list. And then after using, he tick mark everything. Oh, all that has been taken out. Excellent. And then he thought that let me take my hat off and wipe the sweat, and saw the hat is not there. So it is the balancing becomes so difficult. You forget the most important thing at times. Do everything correctly, and then something else remains to be done. And thus you complain. To manage everything is so difficult. And then we say, especially though those days were good, these days we have so many things to think about in life. So balancing act is difficult. And so very naturally this question gets asked to spiritual teachers very often. In fact, the most often asked question in various forms is this: how, in the midst of all these things which are occupying the space in my mind, how do I move forward in spiritual life? Just this morning, I was talking to one devotee, and I was told, well, Swami, I know I need to give you more time, more attention for meditation, but so many things come up. I cannot really give time for meditation. Sometimes I somehow manage 5-10 minutes, that's about it. So many works are there. I sit for meditation, suddenly a friend calls. Now, why should that fool call right then? Well, it is so. It is all these create various pressures and cause distractions. How to balance all these things? A challenge. A challenge. Sri Ramakrishna, as you see in this, he went to see the circus. It is. And next day, the similar discussion was there, and Sri Ramakrishna told, look, on that circus, in one of the shows in the circus, a girl was riding a horse, standing on it. And the horse was running, making rounds, jumping here, there, and the girl was just standing there, doing various gymnastics while standing, jumping up, and again landing on the horse. It is all. How could she manage this balancing act? Yes, by lot of practice. One cannot give up anything. It is, the question is of balancing, not just giving up or throwing things around, and thus you see that let me keep very few things. All right, that is one way of balancing life, making it simple. Keep very few things. But let us remember, those few things also will start exerting so much of unbalancing pressure that how many are you going to reduce? You may think that, okay, let me go to the forest. This modern civilization, so noisy and so many problems. I don't need anything. I want to give up everything. And then want to go to some secluded place in a forest, just spend my time in meditation. That seems to be the only option. Not so simple. It is. There are other challenges that you do not have here, but when you go to meditate in a forest, there will be, where are you going to get your food from? It is. Even many of our Swamis, as you see in our centers, it is a lot of activity goes on, lot of works they have to perform. It is not just become a Swami and sit in deep meditation 24 hours a day. Even if you are given that leisure, how many will be able to do that? That's another question. But that is not a choice at all. You have to work hard and complete many things. In the midst of that, you have to find time for meditation. It's an intensely active life. If you go to any of our monastery, forget my case, I don't have to do work much, but it is in many other places that I was in, so much of work. Somebody is managing hospital day and night, is busy. I was at one of those centers as a visitor, and then saw after getting early in the morning, getting up early in the morning, that the Swami who was staying just in the next room there, his room is locked. I thought he must have gone for meditation, but he wasn't there. And then he came back at about 8 o'clock, and then said, well, where were you? Oh, at 2 a.m. there was the call, emergency call from the hospital, so I had to go there, and I am just coming back from there. So, and this is not one off day, friends. If you are working in the hospital, that is how your life will be. So, many challenges are there. It is not that Swami means just the long meditation. No, a lot of work is there. So, but therefore one feels, let me have a vacation. I want to perform austerities. This way I will never be able to lead my spiritual life. So they write to our the management that I want a 1 year complete vacation. I will just meditate. Don't assign any work to me. And the senior authorities, they know what is all this. They tell, why you want to go? In this you try to find out some time for meditation. You can if you want to. And then don't think that going to some other place is going to help you. But if the person is insistent, no, don't tell me all these things, that there is that stubbornness that, I have seen what is this. This is no place for concentration on God. Let me go to a secluded forest there. I will sit in a cave and merge in samadhi. Then the life that Sri Ramakrishna said, that life is for God realization. I am going to do that. Well, the person goes and then finds that the things are not as easy as thought. Everywhere there are many things that need to be balanced. One Swami used to tell about such. What happens? Well, he goes to forest, comes with that problem that I have to go and bake food, and it takes lot of time. If at all I get, sometimes I find it very difficult to digest the food that I get. Another problem. And then there are so many mosquitoes, you see. I sit for meditation and the mosquitoes keep on biting. How to, so many things again. The act of, balancing act has to be there. So many things will be there. One has to learn to balance all of them and move in spiritual life forward. Not that they will be abstracted and then you move to spiritual life. While doing these things, you have to move towards spiritual life. Sri Ramakrishna always got these problems, how to do it. And he gave so many such examples. One picture I am showing there. Such these things I have, that lady is carrying. So many pictures, one after another, that one on the top of the other, like that, and walks, balancing act, you see. And this is not considered any big feat as such. So many women in the village, they are doing the same thing. In fact, they go together, they are talking with each other. Sometimes some woman would have her a little child also in her arms while all these pots are there, and they are all talking with each other as if nothing much is being done. It is all taken care of because of practice. Sri Ramakrishna says, you have to do the practice in the midst of all these challenges. You have to keep on thinking about God. It is not that these things will be gone and then you will think about God. There is a very nice saying in one of the old Sanskrit hymns that if somebody thinks that I will realize God after all these works in the world are taken care of, the condition of that person is like somebody who stands in front of the ocean and says that I want to take a dip in the ocean, but only when all the waves are subsided, then I will take a dip. Now waves on the ocean never will subside, and thus this person will never get to take a dip. So therefore such situation never arises because our mind is full of all these disturbances. They will be creating all different things disturbing the balance. There, one has to keep on struggling along with these things, not without them. He used to give another example of the children playing. They hold a pillar and go round and round holding the pillar. It is, I don't know, these days probably I haven't seen children playing like that. In my childhood we used to do a lot like that, just for fun. And then what happens? As long as the child is holding on to the pillar, the child does not fall, does not lose balance. And while sometimes just for fun, the child lets the hold on the pillar go, and then boom, you fall down. It is, Sri Ramakrishna would cite this example and would say that, look, you are in this world moving constantly, hold on to the pillar, that is God, the central pillar. Hold on to God and you will not fall. That is, what it means is the main purpose of life should be held on to. Everything else will then fall in place. That main thing, if you give it up, then there is nothing left, you will fall. So no support will be left, nothing steady will be left in life, you will fall. So this is, Sri Ramakrishna told many other stories like, I have to do so many works, I have my children and so forth. He would say, are they your children? Think of yourself as a nanny, that the children are under your care, that's all. Don't say they are mine. And then you will feel a lot of rest inside, means the anxieties would go away, that's all. So you will not be anxious, your mind will not get drawn so much towards all those things. So this is an important thing, that to balance all the talk in the Upanishads. It is about balance. In Bhagavad Gita, it begins with the story that balance, that Arjuna had to fight the war. And everybody is having some kind of a war. A war doesn't mean that it is one has to go to a battlefield with guns and so forth. Here war means that we have to do the work. And then that is like a war. Each of us has to do the work. So Arjuna feels that, no, I have to give up these works. My duty is terrible. I cannot do it. It is going to now make my life terribly difficult. He feels completely lost and then prays to Krishna, this his friend and teacher, as they say in English, friend, philosopher and guide. That Krishna tells Arjuna, no, that is not what is to be done. Do your work. Only do it in such a way that it becomes your spiritual practice. Not that you have the work and then spiritual practice. One has to convert the work into spiritual practice to restore that balance in life. No, this is my work time and this is my spiritual time. That way the balance will not get restored. Let us remember this. But by seeing that what I am calling work, that also is part of spiritual life. This is a very interesting idea you will find in all different these religious books. For example, that Brother Lawrence book, Practice of the Presence of God. He is doing all different works, but that work becomes a spiritual practice by changing the attitude. Do your prayers while working, just as what am I doing? Am I standing or am I giving lecture? Or am I thinking? Well, all three things are being done simultaneously. I am holding on to God. It doesn't require that I should sit. It doesn't need that I should stop talking. While doing all these, that also is getting done and has to be done. There is no such division that, this is the time that is not for work. Yes, but your meditation also is, at least still there is the ego in us, that meditation also is a work. It has that verb, means I did meditation. So there is doing involved in that meditation, you see. So that is there. So all these words Krishna tells that they become binding, they become a problem only if you do it with that addiction to the results of them and the addiction to I am the doer, that awareness. To get rid of it is called yoga. And to do yoga while working is the skill in work. Yoga karmasu kaushalam, that while doing work, they are to be done in such a way that your mind remains united with your ideal. You are not getting caught up in the results of the work and so forth. So you are not addicted to work, not addicted to the results of the work. You are doing it with your mind united to God, your ideal. And thus, now that is what is called skill in work by Bhagavad Gita, karmasu kaushalam, to do work with this attitude, in this manner, constitutes the skill in work. So, this is the skill that is described in Bhagavad Gita, that will balance everything properly. Your work, yes, do them. How will they be that? Will they not disturb the balance? No, they will in fact help to create the right balance. So, therefore, the work is not a distraction, work is not something that makes the life out of balance. It is, in fact, a tool by which the balance can be created in life. So, this is to be done. There are these stories, stories of King Janaka. He was king. Now, these stories may have some, in some epic, some mythological stories, there might be the reference to these stories, but I have just heard these, and some books mention this, but they don't give the original source where exactly these stories are. So, one of the stories, he was considered a king. He was a king, but a king whose mind was not in the body but in the God. So, therefore, he was called Videha, means freed from the body. His awareness was not, I am body. And so, many mendicants, many spiritual practitioners would come to learn from him the secret of all this. How can he do both these things together? He is a king, lives in a palace, and all the kingly luxuries are around him. How can he be the knower of supreme truth and freed from the body? So it is told that the Shuka, the son of Vyasa, another great sage, came to Janaka to learn the secret of spiritual life from him. And he told, my father told me to meet you and learn from you. And Janaka said, very good, but there is a qualifying test, It is to be admitted to as my student, I give everyone some qualifying test. Okay, let me see how do I do. And then Janaka said, this is our city, you are coming here for the first time. So, go, so many beautiful places are there. See these. And as he was going to, okay, no, not like that. A big pan was filled with oil to the brim, and he was told, you have to carry it on your head. Not a drop would spill. Some stories say there was a man with a sword going behind. In case a drop spills, the head would be cut off. So it is. So he was told that is how you have to go, see everything, and then I will ask you the details of what you saw. You should observe and describe everything to me after you return. And Shuka said, okay. And a tour took some time, big city, so, and when he comes back, wow, not a drop spilled, great. And tell me, what did you see? And Shuka describes everything very nicely, appropriately, correctly. And the king asks that, how could you do that? Well, I kept my attention on the pot, and while my attention was there, I was observing everything also. All this was taken up as one thing, not as different things, but one thing that I had to do. And Janaka said, "Wow, that is, you are a really good disciple to learn that secret of spiritual life." And somebody asked him that how you are being a king, surrounded by luxuries, how are you living this spiritual life? How you are actually detached from all this? So another monk came, and then Janaka said, "Okay, we shall discuss those things tomorrow. Now eat nicely and have sumptuous food. We have palace, very nice cooks and great variety of food. You should eat nicely. One thing is there, you should describe how each of the items tasted and how did you like them, whether you enjoyed them or not, or if not, then what was deficient in them. You should tell me all that." And as he was about to start eating, he saw a big sword was hanging right on his head, hanging with a very thin cord, thin thread. Oh. Now imagine how his eating would go on. And then items after items were coming. He was somehow... And then after the lunch was done, the feast was over, then he was asked that, "Okay, how were all these different things? How was the taste of this? How was that?" Said, "Please, I could not eat anything. My mind was always all through whether that sword will fall on my head or not, how it will fall." That is the secret, that you have to be so much that convinced of impermanence of life, that death can come any time. Don't worry about it. Anyway, this sword is hanging on our head. Whether you think of it or whether you don't think of it, it is there. So that should be taken out of equation. It is there. Just because you are worrying, is it going to go away, Naomi? It is going to be there. So by worrying, you are missing the other part of the job of eating and that enjoying the food in front of you. Why do that? This word, well, it is there. Whether you think of it or whether you don't think of it, it is there. You have no choice to get up till you finish your lunch. So eat lunch peacefully. Do not get perturbed. It is there. Why worry about it? So this is the lesson, balancing everything. There are hundreds of things that will be going on, jumping about here and there, and sometimes one will be prominent, some other time some other thing will be prominent. It is, but all will be there. You have to balance them with your main purpose of life. None of those is the purpose of life. Earning money is not purpose of life. Taking care of the other family members is not the purpose of life. doing some job, not the purpose of life. Being a respected member of the community is not the purpose of life. To balance all these, the main thing is to be centered in your true awareness. Then, when one does that, it just comes up. Yes, everything then falls in place. Everything, friends. It is, these things, they come, they go. But hold on to that, which is your goal of life, which is the reality, which is the center of our existence. When one holds on to that, the balance gets created. You know, a circle, it is, to draw a circle is very simple and very difficult. It is, I was told by one of our teachers that how to draw a circle, not with that instrument, but just use a pencil, nothing else, and your vision, that's all. And draw this circle. It does not always come perfect. In fact, many times it would be so far away from what should be called circle. It is, but the trick to draw a circle is think of the center first. Center. The idea of a circle is every single point is equidistant from this. Think of that point which is at the center, and then draw the circle. Then you can expect a fair amount of success. It requires practice because the attention moves and the hands also are not trained. But if this method is used, think of this center and then move your hand. And then you will be able to draw this circle. Now this, I think of, all these other activities and other things in life as the circumference of this circle. But there is this center of our consciousness, that center of existence, where from everything comes and where everything merges back, that center of existence, that is where, if you think of that, then the balance is established. And that is, one can easily see that. We shall discuss a few things about it after this, that yes, that is how, holding on to that, the things will fall in place. So, it is, if you see the life of Holy Mother Sarada Devi, Holy Mother Sri Sarada Devi, her life, whenever I think of having balance in life, I don't find any example which is more educative, more instructive, more inspiring than Holy Mother's life, friends. It is the life where you have so many various problems of life, just jumping again and again. The health issues are there. There are so many family members which have their selfish demands constantly being presented to Holy Mother. There are the devotees who also want so many things from her. It is all these things I cannot describe really. If you read her biography and the various incidents narrated in that by her disciples or her attendants, one can see how many various forces she was handling with this tremendously spiritual consciousness. That center was so firm that everything was getting very clearly, very beautifully handled without losing balance at all. It is a great education to look at her life. The more and more one meditates on that very special life, we can see how we can have balance in our life. Another important way that the balance in life can be established is the company of holy people. This is the very important point, friends. We generally, although scriptures mention it very strongly, people do not easily realize it. That, okay, what is the point in holy company? What do I have to be there? I can just read the books. Well, that is true, good, but while reading also try to feel the life of that person, of whose thoughts you are reading. It is important to have the holy company. With holy company, what happens? You see how this person is balancing so many things. It is, I had the opportunity to stay with so many different holy people doing various things at different times. And just being with them would be such an invigorating, inspiring education that, look, I complain about these little problems. How much problem he has, but there is no complaint. In fact, there is the welcoming, welcoming invitation to everybody. Yes, come and see how the life is led. It is, I remember just one Swami, I am not telling too many incidents, there are so many. There was a lot of work, a big function was getting organized. This was at Belur at our headquarters. And there was this Swami was handling, organizing of the residential arrangements for the guests and the feeding arrangements. Very tedious work really. Literally thousands of people, the number of delegates coming was about 10,000. So their residential arrangements, their food, their travels, all that are to be looked after. From morning till evening the work was going on, and there were more than a dozen other swamis or these novices working under him. So all of us, we were working, he also was working very hard. But he was not for a moment tense that how will it be finished. How will it be finished? He was very calm. And one of us complained, so much of work is still there. how will we be able to finish it? He smilingly told, don't worry about it. Don't waste your energies in worrying. Smilingly, happily, keep on doing this work. And he said, oh, what a confidence in that, Swami, You will see that just as the day rises, sun comes up, sun sets. That day's work you start, that will also end. At night you will go to sleep. Days after days, like that, after 10 days, you will see the function has started. All the arrangements had been made. And then after another week, everything will be finished. Everything will be finished. Don't worry about it. Things come, things go. Hold on to God and do your work. And it was so assuring the way he said that. It was so assuring that not getting jittery. Oh, so much is yet to be done. And, wait. Don't complain about, because there are 10, 12 people working, so there would be some argument, some fight, something would be there. Okay, take it in the stride. That's it. Do not get perturbed about it. And thus, actually exactly that happened. So I would see, okay, yes, I am sleeping now. Today's work is done. And then tomorrow again it is beginning. Continue doing it. And then at some time it is going to be over. That's it. Another work will begin. That's it. So have that confidence. Hold on to the center. A great thing that one gets to learn from such holy associations. So that is one important thing that is going to restore the balance in life in the right way. Of course, balance has another meaning also, a wrong idea. Balance here does not mean being stationary and getting attached to the world. Our journey to the goal has to be maintained as intensely as we can. Then only the balance has meaning. If you are not moving anywhere, that is a different kind of balance. One of our Swamis, he is a wonderful artist. And then I told him that for this book, make a drawing of this type. I gave him a kind of sketch. He said, no, that will not do at all. I said, why? He said, it is nice, but it is all balanced. I said, what is wrong? See, there is no dynamic element there. It has become static because of too much balance. There is no dynamism in that drawing. It has to have the movement. It is, otherwise there is that kind of dead balance. A dead body is very much balanced in the coffin, you see. That is not the balance that we are thinking of. It is, so many people, they say to a person, spirituality is all right, but too much spirituality is not good. There should be a balance in life, which sadly what it means is that be static. Do not travel to your goal. So that is not the idea. This is a beautiful symbol. It is a symbol of Tao, and you see, that is the message that I was talking about. In the center of your being, you have the answer. You know what you are and what you want. Connect to that, the God in our center, and the illumination is sure to come. Another great idea, and I'll conclude with this discussion, that the principle of liver, a principle of balance, that is discovered by Archimedes maybe about 3000 years since now, and this is one of the fundamental principles in all engineering, principle of liver. And it is said anecdotally that Archimedes mentioned that give me a liver long enough and a fulcrum strong enough, and I will move the earth. There is no weight big enough that you cannot move. All that you need is leverage. That is how the word has come, leverage. You have to know where to keep the fulcrum and where you should be, how long the rod you need, and then you will be able to lift that weight. So, this is how the balancing trick in life is. Everything we can do if we connect to this center, to this idea that this is the fulcrum, and just see, resting on it, how you can lift every single weight. Don't get bogged down. Because I have to do this, I have to do that. Swami, how can I, I have to work at my home, I have to work in a yard, at my backyard I have to work. So many works are there. Everything will be taken care of. The whole world can be lifted, not just these few works. And Lord Krishna is one of the great examples, that how managed everything and yet was free of everything. So friends, this is the idea we discussed today. May that balance come in our life with the blessings of the divine Sri Ramakrishna, Holy Mother and Vivekananda. We shall meditate on it, and if you have some questions, please don't hesitate to ask. Yes, please.
Swamiji, there is no web question.
Very good. Oh, you have a question, Johnny? Excuse me, can you for a short time? Yeah, so that I will be able to hear what you are saying. Yeah.
Yeah, you mentioned for how holy company, if I were to be around holy company, how it would be beneficial for me. But at the same time, wouldn't it be beneficial for me if I had a balance of people who I could serve, the people that might need a message, a holy message, that I could pass on possibly to also?
Well, that is holy company, isn't it? It is holy company doesn't mean some people who have the banner that they are holy. Serving, when you serve somebody with the proper attitude, seeing God in them, now for you they become holy, there is God in them. And then serving that becomes your holy company, it becomes your karma yoga, yoga of action, that certainly helps to maintain the balance that we were talking about, a dynamic balance that advances us towards the goal of life. Thank you very much. Yeah. Yes, Ajay?
There was a discussion about the place of grace in spiritual life and the sources of grace. So, like grace of God, grace of the Guru, grace of the scriptures. But they said that none of this can function without the grace of the mind.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, that is.
But I didn't understand what that means.
This is a saying of Sri Ramakrishna, and it fits in today's discussion very well about the grace. He says, Guru Krishna Vaishnav tiner daya holo, eker daya bine jeev chare khare gelo. In Bengali he would say that. What it means is that, as I mentioned, there is the grace of the Guru, grace of the God, and grace of holy people. All three showered the grace, but one fellow did not shower grace, and therefore none of these three could work. What was that one? That was one's mind. The mind must be receptive to that. Otherwise, nobody's grace is going to work. It won't reach you, you know. It won't reach you at all. It is like some medication that has to be taken into mouth, put in the system. Now, if the mouth is not opening at all, then you cannot give that medicine. It is the mouth has to open, and that medicine is to be put in. The medicine needs to get swallowed. So the mind has to open up to receive that. Then only it functions. Otherwise, it is there, but I am not receiving it. A similar saying that of Sri Ramakrishna, that the breeze of grace is blowing all the time, but you have to unfurl your sail, then your boat will get that breeze, otherwise not. That is the idea in that. Thank you very much. So, now next week the programs are just same. That is Tuesday, Friday, there will be the classes at 7:30 p.m. The Tuesday it is the Sri Ramakrishna and his divine play. Friday it is Srimad Bhagavatam. And the Sunday discussion, the topic is soul inside the body? It is something that we have to think about. Where is the soul? Is it inside the body or outside the body? If it is inside the body, which spot exactly it is staying in? How big is the size and all that? So we shall try to tackle that problem next Sunday, and we shall conclude with the closing prayers. The other programs are going on as usual, that is every morning and evening prayer and meditation meeting, and everybody is in person allowed, according to one has to follow the restrictions to stay safe and to make others stay safe from this pandemic. May the Divine, who is Father in heaven of the Christians, Holy One of the Jewish faith, Allah of the Muslims, Buddha of the Buddhists, Tao of the Taoists, Great Spirit of the Native Americans, our Mazda of the Zoroastrians, and Brahman of the Hindus, lead us from the unreal to the real, from darkness to light, from death to immortality. May the all-loving being manifest himself unto us and grant us abiding understanding and all-consuming divine love. Peace, peace, peace be unto all.
Breaker of all our worldly bondage and adored by all, we adore you too. Stainless Lord, assuming human form, stainless Lord, assuming human form, transcendent yet filled with love. You free us from the stain of sin and ornament our world. Consciousness is a form. Your eyes always purified by knowledge. Your eyes always purified by knowledge. Looking at them, pollution is gone. Ocean of shining love and feeling, ever inebriated in your infinite love. Your feet always dear to your devotees. Your feet always dear to your devotees. Form our boat to cross this world. Reveal to us as God incarnate and the Lord of all things, helping us join with you. Your mind's always set in the divine light. Your mind's always set in the divine light. This we can see through your grace. Destroyer of our worldly sorrow and compassion, so infinite is the world. Your life suffered for the world's deliverance. Your life suffered for the world's deliverance, saving us from darkness and fear. Renouncer of all lust and lucre, therefore you were always spurning sensual life. Lord of monks, you are the best of men. Lord of monks, you are the best of men. grant to us pure love for you. You're fearless and you're free from doubting, with your mind very firmly resolved. Causeless refuge of your devotees, causeless refuge of your devotees, renouncing caste and birth. Our treasure is your holy feet, which take us very soon across this puddle of life. You give love and even-sightedness. You give love and even-sightedness to remove our anguish here. Our treasure is your holy feet, which take us very soon across this puddle of life. You give love and even-sightedness. You give love and even-sightedness to remove our anguish here. Greetings to you, O Lord, beyond both speech and mind. Greetings to you, O Lord, beyond both speech and mind. Yet you are the basis of both. O Lord, yet you are the basis of both. Great light of all lights, blazing in the heart's cave. Great light of all lights, blazing in the heart's cave. Darkness is destroyed by your light. All darkness is destroyed by your light. Greetings to you all beyond both speech and mind. Greetings to you, O Lord, beyond both speech and mind. Yet you are the basis of both. O Lord, yet you are the basis of both. Great light of all lights, blazing in the heart's cave. Great light of all lights, blazing in the heart's cave. Darkness is destroyed by your light. O Lord, darkness is destroyed by your light. Langa ranga bhanga, these are all the sounds of mridanga. Langa ranga bhanga, these are all the sounds of mridanga. Spiritual songs devotees are singing for your worship divine. Spiritual songs devotees are singing for your worship divine. Jaya Jaya for your worship divine. Hara Hara for your worship divine. Shiva Shiva for your worship divine. Breaker of all our worldly bondage and adored by all, we adore you too. Jai Shri Guru Maharaj Ji Ki Jai. auspicious and blessed, graciousness sublime, all noble ends you give to us, granting us refuge, all-seeing Gauri. O Mother Divine, our love to you. Creation, preservation, dissolution are your powers, eternal one. Nature's real basis, nature's essence, O Mother Divine, our love to you. We come seeking refuge from anguish. Be our Savior through your deep concern. All our suffering remove, Goddess. O Mother Divine, our love to you. Victory, O Mother Divine, our love to you. Blessed Mother Divine, our love to you. Blessed Mother Divine, our love to you. Blessed Mother Divine, our love to you. Jai Shri Ram Krishna Dev Ki Jai. Jai Shri Sarda Devi Ki Jai. Jai Shri Swami Vivekananda Ki Jai. Jai Shri Buddha Dev Ki Jai. Jai Shri Jesus Christ Ki Jai.